Hi guys! Thank you so much for being here. Today's a very exciting video because I'm going to be doing a 2024 recap. This has been one of the best years of my life, but it also has been one of the most rocky and a lot of big changes happened this year that has been hard to get to grips with. I want to cover it all. Let me know in the comments what was the best thing that happened to you in 2024, big or small. I have my notes, I have my cucumber water. Let's get started. So 2024 started off in February for me. It was the year of the blue hair. So I'd always wanted to get my hair dyed like a fun color, but I never had the guts. I don't know what overcame me. I think I saw too many edits on TikTok, and there was this one picture that I saw and it just convinced me to get my hair done. So I went and got it bleached. I got seriously bad chemical burn because I went to a really bad salon. Please check the reviews before you go to a salon. But then once that chemical burn healed, then I dyed my hair blue. And yeah, I never looked back. I just feel like blue is so my color. It feels like a rebirth. I feel like, new version. Okay, I'm dwelling on the hair too much. Next, so in April, the first big thing happened for me, which kind of started a chain reaction of pretty much all the events that happened in the rest of the year. And that was my autism diagnosis. So probably 6-7 months before that is when I first called the GP to be like, hey, I think I have autism. They were kind of judgy, I'm not gonna lie. They were like, what makes you think you have autism? You know, this is kind of like the theme with the whole of my autism diagnosis. I had to fight for what I thought was going on with me, because you know yourself best, right? It's like no one has ever suggested to me that I may have autism. Teachers, growing up, parents, doctors, even though I've gone to them with all of the symptoms and all the problems my whole life, they never seem to connect the dots. I always got misdiagnosed with things that come off from autism, but no one ever really got to the core. People are still so stereotypically have the goggles that autism is really male, it stereotypically looks like this, it looks like that. So women often get overlooked. So my GP was judging me, my friends didn't really get it. Even my ex a few years ago was like, well, if you had autism, if anyone would know, I would know. He was a freaking autism expert or something. I felt embarrassed, but finally I had enough. I'd been struggling with it way too much, and I thought, I need answers, I need help. And then finally I got my actual official diagnosis appointment in April this year, where I went to a specialist and we had a whole day. It was really, really thorough, all the way from childhood all the way till now. Everything was picked apart, everything was assessed. It was pretty nice actually to be heard and seen and go through it all. And of course, I should have got a cake to celebrate, but I got diagnosed with autism. Of course I cried because all I could think of was me growing up and how many struggles I went through that were so clearly different to what everyone else was going through. And it just never got picked up. And I think sometimes you do really have to be your own biggest advocate, you know yourself best. And that applies to anything. You know yourself best. You need to fight for yourself. So I'm really glad I did that. Got my diagnosis and things started making sense. Now that I knew the root of my struggles, I was able to now learn how to handle them. For example, I'd been struggling a lot at work before that. My 9 to 5, I did it for 3.5 years. It was in a corporate environment as a graphic designer. I have periods of time where my social anxiety is so bad that I just can't leave the house. And this happens every now and again. It's happened my whole life. This started becoming a problem at work, and they were not happy to accommodate to my needs, even though my job could be done from home. So I kind of spiraled after that. Even just being in the office would cause me so much physical pain. Sometimes I have a lot of light sensitivity and noise sensitivity. And even just being around people sometimes, if I woke up and was having a day where I could not leave the house, what can I do? It was a really scary time. I'm not gonna lie. I felt very lost. I felt like I didn't have any options left. And I just kind of felt like it wasn't leading anywhere. Creatively, I think I had so much more that I wanted to do. Sometimes in these corporate environments, especially if you're like me and you're not really suited to it, it's really hard to progress. The most fun projects I ever did in that 9 to 5 was the mural that I made in the office, and also the illustration that I did for the windows at the 2023 Parkinson's convention in Barcelona. But both of those projects were actually just done in my spare time, done through work, but nothing to do with work, if you know what I mean. So I thought, what if I could do those things full time? So I started seeking out independence, right? Like freelance illustration, it seemed like a really good move for me. And spoiler alert, it did end up being a very good move for me because I was like, okay, this is my way out. This is also something I've always wanted to do. My dream, always growing up, was to be an artist. And then that slowly developed and turned into being an illustrator. That's the kind of way I could see it actually being like a career and a viable like option to make money. So sometimes you really do need a push. I look back at my time at my corporate job and it's like I did learn so much. The people I met genuinely changed my life. When I first started that job, I was a naive student who had just graduated and I didn't know anything. And when I finished, I was a completely different person and ready to take on an independent role. So, you know, I don't want to completely trash on 9-to-5s. I think try everything at least once, see if you like it. Definitely there's so much I gained from doing that 3 years, but obviously there's a time to move on. And I think if they didn't start pushing me away, I might never have left. I might have just put up with it forever. Okay, so this point in the timeline, it is now May. I haven't quit yet, but I'm getting prepared. Looking at resources out there. So I signed up for all of those. And then the biggest one for me was the Association of Illustrators mentorship scheme. They do it every year and they take on about 20 like new starter illustrators and they pair you up with a mentor. And my mentor was Matt Murphy, who is the best. He's the best. He's an illustrator, been doing it for many, many years, freelance and signed on with an agency, and he really helped just transform me into someone who was doing digital art illustration as a hobby and turning it into an actual viable freelance business. But I started that about May, and then I got my first ever client job, which is even the biggest client I've ever done so far, which was the Manchester Council. So they were doing a new scheme. Like, it was a very comprehensive 10-year plan to just improve the community of Manchester. Very exciting project to be on. And the people at Manchester Council were so lovely. They really allowed me to be creative, like leave my mark, have my own individual perspective on the project. So I had to make one illustration that summarized a chapter in that big document, and it also got turned into posters which were shown at the launch event. Halfway through that project with the Manchester Council, that's when I got the confidence then in June to quit my 9-to-5, because I was like, okay, you know, I'm getting mentorship with the AOI with Matt, which will keep me on the right track. And then I'm halfway through a freelance illustration job with the biggest client I've ever had. That was all I needed. I didn't have much of a plan, but I just kind of like saw the trajectory, right? With this kind of thing, you have to have a bit of delusion. So I remember I was heading back to Manchester. I was on a holiday and it was a night flight. Everything was dark. Everyone was sleeping, but it was just me, like on my iPad, illuminated. And I was like writing in my diary. And I was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. You know, I've always been a person that loves Mondays, like loves going to school, loves going to uni. Monday's a very exciting day for me because I'm like, okay, new week, fresh start, let's do this. First time in my life, I'm dreading Mondays. That's how you know something's wrong. I was like, no, this has been going on for too long now anyway. It was a bit scary, of course. You never feel ready, do you? But I never felt more ready in my life to do it. But yeah, I remember calling them first thing in the morning and I was like, yeah, I need to hand in my notice. And they were like, oh, you got another job offer. I was like, no, just gonna wing it, just gonna see what happens, see what I do. It did feel a little bit embarrassing. They're like, what's your plan? I'm like, YOLO. The funniest part is they did not try to convince me to stay. You know, like sometimes like you expect a little bit of back and forth, like, is there anything we can do? Like, because I know they do that. They did not do that for me, but it's fine. It's fine. I didn't want to stay anyway. It was actually kind of nice. Like we had a little pizza party, leaving thing. Yeah, I made really good friends across those 3 years and I do miss them. I do. And I still keep in contact with a lot of them actually. But yeah, we had a nice leaving thing, you know, left on a really good note. Then me and Josh went down to London, visited his brother, and we went to Soho House to have a little celebration for me quitting, you know, like new chapter, new vibe. The DJ was that guy. Who's that guy with the glasses? Forgotten his name. And then I just kind of had a couple of weeks where I was like, okay, what am I doing? And luckily, like I will say, this whole time since I quit, I've never freaked out. I've never been nervous. And it's weird because like, I don't have a for sure plan for the first time in my life. I don't have a guaranteed income, totally independent. And for some reason, I've never had so many ideas. I've never had so much energy, excitement, and I've never been so relaxed. It's exactly what I needed. And now I could also accommodate my needs because with autism, with social anxiety, depression, it's like there are days when I'm fine, but there are days which are bad. I can accommodate that so that it doesn't affect the work that I put out. It doesn't affect my productivity. It doesn't affect me doing what I want to do. I just need to be able to have that freedom to flex my schedule and how I do things and where I do things in just small ways, I think, but it makes a really big impact. So now we're in August and I have started up my Etsy, started up my YouTube, and started looking for illustration clients too. So first let's talk about illustration. So through Matt, through my mentorship, he introduced me to editorial illustration. So that is illustration for books, magazines, whatever kind of big body of text needs an illustration. That's what editorial is. And it's something I'd never done before. Those 3 years when I did my 9 to 5 as a graphic designer, I worked in advertising. It's very different. And I just thought I wouldn't like editorial. Like, I don't know why, but I just never thought I'd try it. And I tried it, and it was so much fun because it's just everything I love about illustration. Stories, people, emotions. You're all just trying to capture this complex story in one illustration. Bro, I love that. That's what I love doing. So it's perfect. So then I started looking for clients, probably sent about 100 emails out. Like only 10 get back to you in reality. But one person did get back to me, and that was Al Majala magazine, which is like the leading Arabic magazine, very political, something I'd never really done before, but it ended up being really fun. Like, I love doing that work. They're now like a regular client. Every article is so different. I am exploring topics that I've never done before. I'm still doing kind of speculative practice briefs just to keep my skills up, but I'm still looking for more editorial clients as of today. But it was really fun to kind of find that out as like a thing that I now love to do. Then moving on to YouTube. So I'd posted YouTube videos before. In 2023, I posted like 2 YouTube videos, and they were like 5 minutes long, and they had no structure, no nothing. You can still find them on my channel, but I didn't really have any like vision or passion for it. But then this year, now that I quit my job, I was like, I could do this for real. I had the energy and time now to actually pursue it properly. So I've been making videos weekly, been having so much fun. Like, you know, it's not really getting anywhere yet, but I know it is contributing to a bigger thing. Like, I saw advice saying like, don't care about statistics like subscribers until you made at least 50 videos. So that's what I'm doing. And I am slowly growing. So as of now, I've made 13 videos, which is crazy. That seems like a lot. And I have 264 subscribers, which is crazy. But I actually have crazy goals for this year. Should I say it? Okay, I'll say it. I want to hit 10K this year. I think it can be done. I just do, especially if I keep up posting weekly. And then the final thing that I have been working on is my Etsy shop. In the past years, I have like tried selling things on Etsy, but I did it so wrong. Like, I would put up one listing and only keep it up for like a month, and then be like, okay, that's enough. Because I try and like do like a limited edition, and like that doesn't work if you don't have an audience to begin with. So now in about September, I opened up my Etsy shop again. I actually have like a shop that has multiple products. So I have like heart-shaped cards, which I'm really loving, trying to make it more of a series. I have regular illustrated prints. I want to do stickers. I also made my first ever 2025 illustrated calendar, which again, the reception for that has been so nice. I got my first ever stranger that ordered one of those. Crazy. It's just given me a lot of fire and motivation to keep building my Etsy shop and keep things up there to give people a chance to discover it. Stats as of now is, off the top of my head, 14 sales. I'd say all of those, apart from 2, are from friends and family, but that's really good progress in my head. So yeah, in the second half of this year, when I started going freelance, I've been putting my energy into these 3 routes. So freelance illustration, YouTube, and Etsy, and they're all kind of related as well. YouTube is about our illustration, feeds into Etsy, so it all kind of makes it a bit easier. That's a bit of a secret to making it work as a freelancer. Kind of have different options so that if one is, you know, quiet, you can rely on the other 2. Because being freelance is quite risky, you don't have a guaranteed income. You know, for freelance illustration, people pay you up to 2 months after you've actually completed the job. Diversifying my income sources, putting my energy and effort into different routes in general, kind of evens out the risk a bit. But I do want to say, you don't take this to the extreme, because you can spread yourself so thin that you can't actually make any significant progress in any of those areas. So I know at the start I probably had about 6 different routes that I was exploring. I've kind of been learning the ropes, I think, this year. I think I've been figuring things out, making a lot of mistakes, a lot of learning curves, but that's why I feel excited for 2025, because I'm like, okay, now I can take all that learning and all that falling over and getting back up again, and actually now use everything I've learned to progress things even further. And then finally, okay, a general thing for 2024 was the year of friendship and community for sure. Because for me, ever since I was a kid, again, autism, oh my God, everything is related to autism. Why did nobody pick it up? I always love spending time alone, where I literally, on average, stay in my room 23 hours and half an hour. I would only ever leave just to make food. But overall, I was very happy. I was peaceful, I was happy, I was working away on my stuff. I had my little sanctuary, I love my little room. I just would not socialize. Like, drinks after work? No. Count me out. I'm going straight home. Hanging out with friends? Nah, I'm good. Parties? I don't know. Like, everything? No. I just stay in my room. So this year I was finally like, okay, enough is enough. It's okay to want to spend time by yourself, but taking it to the other extreme, it just wasn't good for me. Because I love my friends. I love my friendships so much. So I push myself to get out there. There are always like creative meetups. There's like sketch clubs, there's live drawing clubs. There's a lot of people I am friends with like online that I could meet up with in real life. And I now feel like I'm actually part of the creative community. You know, if I'm ever in trouble, if I ever have a question, then I can talk to this person. I can quickly call this person, and like they can do the same to me. And it just really feels like I really found like my community. It really does give me my spark. And I think it does keep me going, like being freelance, because when you're freelance, you are a bit isolated. You don't have your own team. So it's really important to find that community, whatever that may look like. I can't express how normal it sounds probably to like get out there and make friends, but it is a new thing to me. It's still a very conscious effort all the time to like go out and do it and maintain friendships and nurture friendships that I have. But it's been nothing but rewarding. I've learned so much about myself this year, which has allowed me to do more. Also, okay, I don't know how much I don't really like to talk about my personal life a lot, but I did get engaged. Check it out. I also got a mood ring. Lol. I'm really excited for 2025. I have rough goals. Like I want to do my first ever makers market. I want to do my first ever commercial, like proper mural. I want to hit 10K on YouTube. I know it's crazy. I just feel like it can be done. Especially if I keep posting weekly, I can see the progression. I like to just take the year as it comes. I don't like to put too much pressure on myself. I just like to try and do better every single day. And I think that just gradually leads into big moments of achievements. But overall, we're just trying to survive the year, so let's just keep it at that. But thank you guys so much for being part of the journey, honestly. It means a lot to have this space where I can make these videos and be part of a community that gets it. I really think the times where I've grown, especially this year, the times that I've grown the most are from things that have been the most difficult. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a great 2025, and let me know in the comments what was the best thing that happened to you in 2024, big or small. And as always, I will see you guys next Monday. Bye! And for those who watched last week's video, I actually put pretty much this identical image on my vision board. And look at me now. I'm drinking water. Also a big deal. Also a really big deal.